So it has genuinely been a hot minute since I actually made a video talking about all the latest MCU Spider-Man 4 news, leaks, updates, basically every single thing you could possibly think of. I wouldn't even be surprised if in this video I pretty much talk about Tom Holland's freaking poop schedule, because there are a lot of things that we have learnt over the last couple months to do with, again, Spider-Man 4 that I'm just yet to talk about on the channel. So again, we're going to be going over basically everything today, and there has been a ton of leaks and updates in the last couple months. Again, before we do get into all of this and more though, I would just like to say that there is still a decent amount of you guys who watch these videos who are not yet subscribed to the channel. So if you could do me a massive favor and leave a like on this video to let me know you guys enjoy it, and subscribe to the channel for all the latest Spider-Man news, Marvel news, all of the above. And I guess without further ado, we'll get into the first bit of information that we have heard, something that a lot of people probably already know by now, but Spider-Man 4 has been delayed by Sony to July 31st in 2026. This is obviously to make way for the Odyssey film by Christopher Nolan and basically give it 2 weeks now from that release, just so they don't have any box office interferes when they, of course, do make it. But again, what's really interesting with that is not only Tom Holland going to be in this one, but he's actually going to be in the Odyssey, which now comes out 2 weeks before Spider-Man 4. So I thought that was really interesting, and there is another little side note to go with this, but it is being said that with Tom Holland's pretty much hectic schedule going on right now, he can only actually film in some dates for Avengers Doomsday. So basically, rumor has it a lot of the Spider-Man scenes in Avengers Doomsday won't actually be Tom Holland at all, and it basically will be a stunt double, or again, another actor pretty much doing it all. Very similar to how Pedro Pascal voices the Mandalorian, but the Mandalorian is actually played by John Wayne's grandson for the most part. So basically, what is being said here is that Tom Holland, he'll film for a week or two for Avengers Doomsday, and he'll do all the, the scenes with his face in it, and then basically the other couple months we'll have him just doing the voice, and we'll have another actor playing Spider-Man. So that's going to be really, really interesting to see how that does go. It's also going to be interesting to me to see if they find a Peter Parker who is going to be Tom Holland's height. Are they going to find a Spider-Man who's going to be Tom Holland's height, which is like, I think, just 5'7". I think he's 169 centimeters or something like that. And why I bring this up is because for the most part, Spider-Man in, of course, the comics, basically as a high school student, is again that 5'7" height. But in some comics, he actually does grow when he gets out of high school to being about 5'10". I believe he's about that height in the games. But in the movies so far, again, Tom Holland's Spider-Man is 5'7". Tobey Maguire's is, I think, 5'8". And Andrew Garfield's was the only one who actually grew technically to the college height, which was about 5'10". So I am wondering, are they going to continue to keep Tom Holland's Spider-Man basically at that 5'7" height? Which I would love, because personally I'm only 5'8". Are they going to have this, stunt double or actor who's going to play him behind the mask, who's going to be maybe 5'10", or how are they going to go about that? Again, I actually do think they'll hopefully keep him to Tom Holland's height, and I just think that makes sense. Why change it, right? Again, I might have been going on a little yap fest here, but it also was reported by Daniel RPK that the budget of the film will apparently be about $200 million, which is expected. It was also revealed, with all the villain news going around right now and rumors on it all, that Vincent D'Onofrio confirms that he and Charlie Cox's Daredevil won't return in Spider-Man 4. Of course, Vincent D'Onofrio plays Kingpin. So this is really, really interesting, because a ton of people were theorizing that the main villain of Spider-Man 4 was going to be Kingpin, and that it would have Daredevil in it as well, and it would be a very big street-level turf war kind of film. And a lot of the ideas people were saying was Kingpin would actually become the mayor of New York City, and he would actually outlaw vigilantism basically making Spider-Man what he does illegal, and he would go and hire the Scorpion and some other villains to go and hunt down Spider-Man and, of course, bring him in, the Kingpin. We know now, though, that doesn't look like it's happening. Kingpin's not going to be in it unless he's just saying that, he doesn't want to spoil it. But again, I think he's actually confirming that himself as Kingpin and Charlie Cox as Daredevil are not going to be in the movie. And this is going to be taking a completely different direction from what fans think. And there's, of course, more evidence to back this up, with another massive report saying that the Marvel Studios has reportedly offered a major actor the lead villain role in Spider-Man 4, and that's being reported by Daniel RPK. So, yeah, not only does this confirm that Kingpin will not be the main villain, he basically will not be in the film at all, but also I think confirms that Null will not be the main villain, which I've talked about on the channel, and there was rumors that that was going to happen because Null has been cast, to be Andy Serkis. So essentially, yeah, that Sony universe looks like it's absolutely dead in the water. Marvel want nothing to do with it, and the reports that Tom Hardy won't be coming back as Venom is actually true. So yeah, I guess we may never see Tom Hardy as Venom. We probably will never see Andy Serkis as Null again. This means that we're getting a completely new villain that no one really expected. I'd say probably like 40% of the fans thought it was going to be Kingpin. 20% probably thought it was going to be Null. The other 40% probably were thinking other people. And I guess those other villains were correct because we are genuinely going to be getting someone else. I think this also confirms it's not Scorpion, because Scorpion, aka Matt Gargan, has also been cast in the MCU. So I think we're getting a completely new villain here that we haven't seen in live action before, and of course in the Spider-Man movie. So there's definitely some options on who they can go with. The guy I would personally love to see, and I don't know if I want him in Spider-Man 4. I'd probably rather him in like 5 or 6, just based on the fact that I'd rather this villain not be in a multiversal setting and more in like a straight level, more of a basic Spider-Man film that's not fully interconnected with the Avengers movies like this one apparently might be. And that does happen to be Mr. Negative, Martin Lee. I think Martin Lee would be the perfect villain for Spider-Man, a future movie, maybe Spider-Man 4, I guess, I don't know. Just based off the fact that Martin Lee, as we know, had connections with Aunt May. His company, the owned Feast, is where Aunt May works in Spider-Man No Way Home. And typically, Mr. Negative, especially in his most popular appearance in the Marvel Spider-Man game, typically is Aunt May's boss. So the fact that Aunt May is dead now in this new one, maybe Peter decides to volunteer at Feast in her place and gets really, really close to Martin Lee, just to find out later on as Spider-Man that he is the very villainous Mr. Negative. Again, I think that would be an absolutely perfect storyline that they could possibly go with. But again, with the multiversal setting we're in, it might not be perfect just yet. So I really don't know who they're going to go with. I've also heard rumors and reports out there as well that this, even though this is a little bit unrelated, this is not to do with the main villain, but I've heard some people say that they would absolutely love for Coleman Domingo to be cast as Norman Osborn. And basically Coleman actually plays Norman Osborn in the new recent Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show, which looks absolutely great and fantastic.
Say that again?
And the season 1 was perfect. And a lot of people are saying that, wouldn't it be awesome if he actually played a live action Norman Osborn? He actually said in real life that he actually does want to play a live action Norman Osborn. So even though normally I'm typically against race swaps, I don't really like when movies recast a black actor with a white actor, and more commonly these days a white character with a black actor. I do actually think that this would be really, really good, just based off the fact that everyone already knows that Willem Dafoe is Norman Osborn and Green Goblin, and it's so iconic with him. Again, he was in the original Spider-Man trilogy, I think all 3 of those movies, of course. He was in Spider-Man No Way Home. There's even rumors he's going to appear in the animated projects later on, potentially in that Spider-Man animated villains movie that's reportedly in the works. Again, I think this would actually be really interesting to give us a new Green Goblin with this perfect, terrific Oscar-nominated actor who actually, because he's black, that actually differentiates him from the Norman Osborn we know and actually makes it a lot different than instead they just got a white actor to play him. Everyone would just be like, well, they could have just gone Willem Dafoe again, this and that, right? You get a black actor to play him, it really differentiates this Norman Osborn from, of course, Willem Hurts, the fuck? From William Dafoe's Green Goblin. And it really differentiates it and makes people really know that, yeah, this is a completely different one. And I just think it honestly would make sense. So even though he won't be the main villain, I wouldn't think of Spider-Man 4, at least I think so. I would actually really like to see him cast as the live action potential Norman Osborn, maybe in the future Spider-Man movies. So again, I think that would be really, really interesting. And after all, he already is an MCU Norman Osborn at this time being, with your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man being in the MCU, just an alternative universe. So I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on everything I've said down below. What do you guys think about Spider-Man 4, and who do you guys think should be playing the main villain of this movie, and who should be the main villain? Also, would you guys like to see, of course, Coleman Domingo play the live action Green Goblin Norman Osborn in the new Spider-Man movies maybe coming up? Again, I'd very much like to know. Subscribe to this channel for the latest gaming content and news, movie content as well. My sports channel, which will be linked down below as well. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.